A cocky 28-year-old prison bully, shirtless, tattooed, laughing like a hyena, blasts a high-pressure hose straight into the face of a quiet 52-year-old black inmate everyone calls Pops. The yard erupts in cruel cheers, until 30 seconds later the same bully is on his back, coughing blood, staring up at the sky, wondering how the old man just broke his world in half with one kick. What happens in those 30 seconds will leave you speechless. Stay till the end, because this isn't just a fight. It's redemption in orange jumpsuits. Yard time at Ironwood State Prison always smelled like hot concrete and cheap disinfectant. For 2 straight years Big Kraj, everyone just called him Kraj, had ruled that yard the way a lion rules the savannah. 6'3", 260 pounds of prison yard iron, neck tattoos that crawled up to his shaved skull, and a permanent smirk that said he'd never lost a fight in his life. Guards looked the other way when he extorted cigarettes, stole trays in the Cho Hall, or initiated new arrivals with a hose and a circle of laughing hyenas in blue uniforms. Fear was his currency, and he was filthy rich. On a dusty Wednesday in July, a new fish stepped into the yard wearing the same orange everyone else wore, but he carried it differently. Tall, maybe 6'4", broad-shouldered, but thin the way long-distance runners are thin. Gray flecked his short hair, deep lines framed his eyes, and he walked like a man who had nowhere to be, and all day to get there. The whispers started immediately. "That's Marcus Ian Hayes," an old lifer muttered. Used to be light, heavyweight kickboxing champ back in the late 90s, undefeated until, well, life happened. Kraj heard the name and laughed out loud. Old man's 52 if he's a day, probably here for bouncing checks. Hose him down, boys, welcome him proper. And Marcus didn't beg, didn't flinch. He simply stood in the center of the yard, hands loose at his sides, eyes calm like deep water. Kraj stripped off his shirt, flexed for the crowd, grabbed the thick red fire hose the guards conveniently left coiled by the wall, and turned the nozzle to full blast. The first jet hit Marcus square in the chest like a baseball bat. Orange fabric slapped against skin. The crowd whooped. A second blast caught him in the face. Water exploded off his cheekbones. He staggered one step, then another, but stayed on his feet. Kraj advanced, laughing, sweeping the hose left and right like he was watering a lawn made of human dignity. "On your knees, Grandpa." Marcus wiped water from his eyes, looked straight at Kraj, and spoke for the first time that day. Voice low, steady, almost kind. "Son, you sure you want to do this?" The yard went quieter. Even the guards shifted uncomfortably. Kraj's smile faltered for half a heartbeat, then came back twice as mean. He charged the pressure even higher and unleashed hell. Water roared like a freight train. Marcus's jumpsuit was plastered to his frame now, heavy as chain mail. Most men would have dropped, curled up, cried, anything to make it stop. Marcus took one more step forward, into the stream, eyes never leaving Kraj. And then he moved, not wild, not angry, precise. Like a man flipping a light switch he'd flipped 10,000 times before. His right leg shot out in a blur, shins slicing sideways across Kraj's wrists. The hose flew out of the bully's grip, spinning in the air like a red snake. Before it hit the ground, Marcus's left foot was already chambered. A single, perfect low kick cracked into the outside of Kraj's lead thigh. The sound was sickening, like someone snapping a thick tree branch. Kraj's leg buckled. His smirk vanished. For the first time in years, real fear flashed across his face. The yard was dead silent now except for the hiss of the loose hose spraying the wall. Kraj lunged, swinging a wild haymaker with everything he had. Marcus slipped inside it the way wind slips through a cracked window, pivoted, and drove a short, chopping elbow into the bully's temple. Kraj dropped to one knee dazed. Marcus could have ended it there. The old champion's muscle memory screamed for the finishing high kick that had put away 27 professional fighters. Instead, he crouched, placed a gentle hand on the back of Kraj's neck, and spoke so softly only Kraj could hear. "I lost my daughter to a man who thought power came from hurting people who couldn't fight back. I swore on her grave I'd never be that man. But I also swore I'd never again Let that man walk free when I could stop him. You get to choose right now which one you're gonna be. Kraj looked up. Blood ran from his eyebrow. For the first time in his adult life, nobody was laughing with him. Nobody was cheering. He saw something in Marcus's eyes he'd never seen directed at him before. Pity. He started to cry. Not loud, just broken, quiet tears mixing with the water on the ground. Marcus stood, turned his back on the fallen bully, an unthinkable insult in prison, and walked toward the guard tower. Every inmate in the yard parted like the Red Sea. When he reached the shadow of the tower, he stopped, looked up at the guards who'd watched the whole thing, and said nothing, and simply extended his wrists for cuffs. They didn't cuff him. 3 days later, Kraj turned himself in to the captain, confessed every extortion, every assault, every guard he'd paid off with contraband. He asked to be moved to protective custody. Not because he was scared of Marcus, but because he was ashamed to even look at him. Marcus served the rest of his 5-year sentence without another incident. Every Sunday he taught a small group of young inmates, mostly kids who joined gangs at 14, how to throw a proper jab, how to breathe when panic hits, how to stand tall when the world wants you on your knees. He never charged a dime. He just asked them to promise one thing. When you get out, protect somebody weaker than you. That's how you pay me back. On the day Marcus walked out of Ironwood a free man, the yard was empty, no recreation scheduled. But if you looked closely at the far fence, you'd see one huge figure in an orange jumpsuit standing at attention, fists clenched at his sides, tears running down his face. Big Kraj saluting the only man who ever beat him, and the only man who ever bothered to save him. And that, brothers and sisters, is how a 52-year-old old man reminded an entire prison that real power doesn't come from a hose. It comes from choosing mercy after you've already proved you don't need it. Never forget, the strongest person in the room is the one who can break you and decides not to.